Chapter 5. Alien Invasion. Ben took the 2 big brown bags of bananas and loaded them onto his old red flyer wagon. He hadn't used the wagon for a long time, but he had refused to let go of it because it was a gift from his grandparents when he was just 6 years old. The wagon would be perfect to help him take the heavy bananas to the swamp because he could drag it along the trail. Ben knew that he could normally walk to the swamp in about an hour, but it would take longer with the wagon. When Ben arrived at the place where the creek crossed the trail, he turned west toward the swamp. He knew that the rest of the hike would not be as easy because there was no path, and he had to carry the wagon over fallen trees. Ben was getting tired. He had been walking and pulling the wagon for almost an hour, and he still had quite a bit to go before he reached the swamp. The route was getting tougher, so Ben had to stop for a rest after another 10 minutes. He sat down on a tree stump breathing heavily and took a sip from his water bottle. He thought about what he was doing and he felt good. He was going to help Zerby so he could go back to his planet. Ben hoped that he had enough bananas to fuel Zerby's spaceship. After resting for a few minutes, Ben got up, carried the bananas and the wagon over the fallen tree, and pushed on. "I better get some sort of reward for this," he thought as he followed the creek westward. When he came to another dead tree, he had to stop, unload the wagon, and carry everything over the tree. This was hard work. Ben wondered what kind of reward Zerby might give him. Maybe my own spaceship. Maybe a ray gun. It was hard to say. I just hope he doesn't give me another hug, Ben thought. Ben had a very difficult time bringing the bags of bananas through the hole in the wall of blackberry bushes. The thorns on the vines ripped open one of the bags, and Ben had to tie the bag with one of his shoelaces to keep it from falling apart. "Where's the spaceship?" Ben asked himself as he collapsed on a big dead tree in the mud. He was exhausted. Just then, the smell hit his nose. Rotten eggs. "I must be close," Ben thought. Almost as soon as Ben stood up, he heard the unmistakable voice of Zerby. "Hello!" Ben looked to his left to see Zerby standing in the mud, his spaceship not far behind him. The sight of Zerby still made Ben feel uncomfortable. "Hi," replied Ben. "I brought you some bananas." Zerby moved toward Ben and looked in the brown bags as Ben opened them. Ben still could not figure out how Zerby moved so quickly with no legs. "How many is bring?" Zerby asked. "I think there's about 50, Ben replied. "I hope that's enough," he added. "Not enough. Need more," screamed Zerby. Zerby was starting to become annoying. He didn't even say thank you, Ben thought. Ben watched the purple alien move toward the spaceship and followed him. Zerby put his fingerless hand on the side of the ship, and suddenly a door opened up. Zerby took the bananas and threw them into the fuel container. "Need more 10 bananas," Zerby said as he turned around and sprayed Ben with drool from head to toe. Zerby moved toward Ben. Ben stepped back a bit to avoid being sprayed again, but Zerby moved even closer. It looked like he wanted to give Ben a hug, but Ben quickly turned and started to walk away. "I will have to go back and buy 10 more bananas," said Ben. "I have to rush, otherwise I will not make it back today." Ben looked at his watch. It was almost lunchtime. He was so tired that he didn't think he could get the extra bananas and come back in the same day. Then Zerby said something that really worried Ben.
"Zerby is rush, bring more Zerby friends,"
shouted Zerby. "What do you mean?" asked Ben.
"Zerby come back to Earth. Zerby bring more friends,"
Zerby answered. "How many friends?" Ben asked. He was starting to get very worried.
"Billions,"
answered Zerby excitedly. Ben's face went white. "Billions?" Ben said to himself in shock. He stood quietly for a moment, staring at the annoying little purple creature. Zerby," Ben hesitated. I guess I'll come back tomorrow," Ben said as he turned and ran toward the hole in the wall of blackberry bushes, hoping he would escape a goodbye hug from Zerby.
"Bye-bye,"
Ben heard Zerby yell behind him as he ran faster and faster along the creek toward the trail. As Ben ran down the trail, he thought about his conversation with Zerby. What if he really comes back with billions of his weird little friends? Ben thought. There would be an alien invasion with Zerbies everywhere, stinking up the entire planet and yelling at everyone. What if they stayed here and made billions of little baby Zerbies? The whole planet would be covered in slimy drool. Ben was scared. "What have I done?" Ben said to himself. By the time he got home, it was late afternoon. He washed himself off in the backyard so he wouldn't get in trouble when he went inside. He didn't want Cindy making fun of him again. That night, Ben dreamed of Zerby and billions of his gross, smelly purple friends. He dreamed of Zerbies driving buses and flying airplanes. He dreamed of Zerbies on TV and Zerbies at the mall. He dreamed of Zerbies everywhere. Dr. Zerbies, dentist Zerbies, Zerby baseball players. The whole world stank like rotten eggs, and everywhere you went, all you could hear was Zerbies yelling, "Hello!" Ben woke up in a fright and sat up straight. "I have to stop Zerby," he said. "I need to make a plan."